to you live via Facebook streaming, YouTube streaming, and also via Skype. Each one of you is welcomed to this live streaming from our studios in Trinidad. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, Tantra, meditation, and Jati Samran. I have explained the various Tantra models. It is generally believed by the people who know nothing about the language. They just read it on the surface and are ready to make comments. They know nothing about the Sanskrit language. They cannot even read it Sanskrit or Arabic or Persian, and they are commenting on Sufism, commenting on Vedas and Sanskrit based on their erroneous knowledge. There are so many controversies about Shiv Ling. Ling is considered as a phallic symbol erroneously, but ling actually is a Sanskrit word that means gender. In English language we have three genders: masculine, feminine, and neuter. In Sanskrit language there are Striling referring to feminine gender, Pulling referring to masculine gender, and Napunsakling referring, and the last is to represent the neuter gender. And neuter is the term that is used to neuter the animals so that they cannot bear the children, they cannot bear the offsprings. But without knowing, these are commenting on, and the most prominent among these are certain people. And when it comes to these talks, it is said, I have heard a very prominent American writer who has published many books. In his one of the book, he has presented a music which is the tuning fork sounds, which are very beautiful, but the way he begins is idiotic. And he says that the entire meditation is of 40 minutes. If I have time, I do full, otherwise I do the 20 minutes. And he says that after listening to it, I feel I am in the arms of God, as if I am in the arms of God. So for these things, we want to have transformation, but we do not want to have time. In the same way, there is so much wrong information about Tantra, and out of these various models came out. The business model is the most important of all these. It is considered as a collection of techniques to enhance sexual experiences, which is erroneous. It is generally understood, but it is not just a collection of techniques to enhance sexual experiences. Tantra is a complete science of self-realization, a science of self-realization. It is based on the cumulative wisdom of centuries of explorations into the meaning of life and consciousness. The entire focus of Tantra is what is the meaning of life and of consciousness. It is not simply or just collection of techniques to enhance sexual experience, which is generally understood by the word. Tantra is a complete science of self-realization. It is based on cumulative wisdom of centuries of exploration into meaning of life and consciousness. The very word Tantra means technique. It comes from the two words Tan and Tra. I keep on focusing this again and again so that you can understand it is a technique to go beyond the body. What is the technique beyond the body? If you want to go beyond, you are feeling hungry and a wok is given to you and you are all the time watching the lunch hour, if the lunch hour has begun or not, and again you are watching the watch. So sometimes it does happen, it is natural for the human beings. You may not have the breakfast in the morning and lunch hour is between 12 and 1. So you are watching the lunch hour, but you cannot focus on your work. So when I see something like that, I tell, go and take your lunch first. Ask, did you have the breakfast in the morning? Oh no, I didn't have the time. So go and take it first. So in the same way, if you are hungry, but firstly you are going for lunch hour, but at the same time you are eating nutritious food, so having eaten, you will not be hungry again and you can be satiated. So it is the healthy diet. It is said when Buddha came out of the river Niranjana, he was weak. He made a carpet of dried leaves, sat on that. Same time a woman named Sujata came and offered the 49 different meals, thinking that it is her good fortune that God has given her the appearance. Having eaten that, Buddha sat in meditation. When all your desires are satiated, only then you can enter into it. And when all the desires are satiated, there comes a glow on the face. The face reflects the satiation. Tantra is the very word, means technique, a set of powerful transformative tools that can be used to bring a new meaning and joy to every aspect of our daily lives, not just sex. Bring new meaning and joy to every aspect of our daily life. Then this is Tantra. You, just as you eat, if you are eating and your focus is on the sounds of the phone, that we have set different sounds for different messages, WhatsApp message, Messenger's message, the post on the Facebook or something else. So as soon as a sound comes in, you immediately look at the phone and see the message. When you are eating, so you are neither in that eating nor you are in that. Your consciousness is divided. We eat in a very robot-like, mechanical manner. There is one thing that we have noticed in the Anglo-Indian houses. Earlier on, there was a dining room where a light music plays and everybody gathered there to have the lunch. But now the kitchen, living room and lunch and the dining room are in one. So you are sitting on the dining table with your phone. It is said when you are going for a conference or meeting, you have to turn off your phone, or you are going into the public offices. That we do not by choice but by compulsion. But when it comes to certain important things, eating and so, it is your choice to switch off the phone or reduce the volume. When there was a time when we did not have the telephone facility, you were never bothered about the social messages or anything. But now it has become. So meditatively, when you are going into anything, whether you are cooking food, but you are constantly watching the famous television serials that of your choice, and at times you are listening, but when you have done certain parts of the kitchen work, you sit down in front of the television and watch it. So what it is happening, too many things are going into the food vibrations. There comes a quarrel scene on the stage, on the screen, or a loving scene. So all these subtle vibrations go into it. I'll give you a reference. I am not vegetarian because of religious reasons. I am vegetarian because of my understanding. Every woman loves her children. If suppose there is a woman who is dumb, cannot speak, her infant is missing or is snatched away by someone, or she is not seeing the infant baby, what she will do? She is dumb. She cannot call, she cannot ask. She will search for the baby here and there and run all around the house. So when you are eating eggs, and it is said these eggs are artificially, they form eggs, and although they don't need to be hatched, but yet still these eggs came out of the hen, chicken. When the eggs are missing, the chicken, like a dumb mother, runs all around in search of those eggs and does not find, because these have been picked up. So what happens there? There remains an agony, the pain that just like a dumb mother feels, and that vibration goes into it. So when you are eating, these vibrations go into you. There is a Buddhist story. There was a sannyasi, a renunciate. He was going for alms. So he went to a house. The tradition was you stand up in front of the house and ask for the alms 3 times. And if a response comes in, is good, otherwise you move away from there. And Buddhists are instructed to go only at the 3 doorsteps, and if If you nothing gets, means that day you have to fast. So this man went and knocked, they asked for alms at the doorstep. A woman came out and she realized there was nothing in the house, but she cannot send the renunciate empty-handed. So she said, wait, I will get the food for you. You sit down and let me make the food for you. So she realized that there was no rice, there was nothing there in the house. So she went in the neighborhood to ask for some rice, but the neighborhood, the person was not there. So she stole the rice from there. Whenever you take something without the permission of the person, it comes in that category. She cooked that rice and offered it to the renunciate. He ate that rice. Having eaten, he walked, and on the way he realized that he is getting old. There is no one to take care of him, and he saw a young boy walking on the street. So he thought of picking that boy, abdicate the boy. The moment that thought came in his mind, he introspected where these thoughts came from. He immediately returned to the house and asked the housewife, the meals that you have prepared, where did you get the ingredients from? So she narrated the entire story. He came to know where this particular thought has come to my mind. These may sound like mere stories, but stories are something which hang around our consciousness. In a way they are true, in a way they are not. So there are many stories, there are many parables, there are many quotes, anecdotes. These form an important part of the teaching, whether you are teaching to the children or like a child does not want to drink milk or things like that. So we narrate these stories, and with that the child begins to feel that by doing this he will become very strong. So after drinking that, he demonstrates his muscles. These things happen. So meditation is an important thing. What happens, all that we have done in the past, that remains recorded in our memory. Like a videography goes on. It's not like only the sound, but the picture also gets recorded in our memory. So whenever we enter into, you look at your daily life, you are all family members. So being the family members, you have been asked something to bring while returning from home, or you have mentioned your spouse when for this evening make these things for dinner, or something or the other happens. Something triggers off from within. You are entering into a new relationship, but if somehow the things do not happen your way, where does this anger, where does this thought comes to your mind from? You do not understand why these thoughts keep on coming again and again, surfacing again and again. They are coming from your unconscious memory. Unconscious and subconscious. There are 7 layers if we plot a graph between the x and y axis, so where the x-axis intersects the y-axis, the ordinates means the in geometry the term is used, and graph the term is used ordinates. At the point where x-axis intersects the y-axis and the y-axis is going up vertically and x-axis going right side, that is the positive. So the ordinates will be 0, 0, both positive. If you go, the y-axis goes up and x-axis goes to the left, then the x ordinate will be minus and y will remain positive. Now, if the x-axis remains going in the right side, y-axis goes below, so the y ordinate will be minus. So that's how the 360 degree it begins. So if we draw the 0, 0 ordinate, it is conscious. Below that, the two layers, unconscious and subconscious. Then above, there comes subconscious, unconscious. Your subconscious is your subconscious, but to some extent it is affected by the collective aspect of it also. But that goes mostly with unconscious. You are unconscious and you meet a friend who is also unconscious, the two unconscious gets accumulated. You learn something from her, or when your husband says something, you do that. This is what I do, and you learn from one another. That is conscious, unconscious, collective unconscious, and cosmic unconscious. That there are vibrations into the atmosphere at times when you are negative. You gather more negative from your friends and from the atmosphere. It is like your immune system is weak, and all of a sudden a friend comes in, he coughs, and you gather the bacteria, the infection. Or you drink something in the cup and you get infection, or the virus, the bacteria is traveling through the air, and you get cosmic. The bacteria comes in that way. That is how the viruses comes. So if you are isolated, that is what it has been mentioned during corona the infection, you need to be isolated, not interacting with anyone. So in the same way, the moment you are negative, you need to remain more meditative and not to interact with those people who are negative. So in that way you are protecting yourself. So subconscious, unconscious, collective unconscious, and cosmic unconscious. Then conscious layer. So we know this from the various viruses that affect the humanity. So in the same way, the unconsciousness is very infectious. It is an infectious virus. So I would not like to interact, or if somebody I know get a feeling this person is negative, I would not like to interact with that. Oh, I will put on my mask face. What is the mask face? It is a conscious awareness. You are meditative and consciously aware in dealing with this person. Yes, at times, as a part of the social activity, we must interact with that person, as you do in the business. During the corona, we all put on our mask faces, we sanitize our hands. These are outer dimensions, but these signify something. When it is said in spiritual terminology, whenever you are going somewhere, you are going to an unknown place, you are going to meet unknown person, you're supposed to continuously chant a certain zikr. If you are expecting to reach in, hoping to enter into an unknown situation, if you are to protect yourself, you can use the word Ya Salamu to maintain your health. O Ya Azizo. The same way as we are given the protection to use this, to use that, in the spiritual terminology we have been given these, but we do not consider these as protection against the virus. The same way there are many mantras or chants which are necessary, but behind all these should not be mechanical. We continue to do tasbih or the rosary or the mala while it is going on. Mechanically it is moving between the index finger and the thumb, but you are continuing to do thoughts. When you look at the people, Hare Krishna, the Muslims, the Hindus, that is how it is going on. The eyes continue to wobble all around, and the fingers is doing this here and doing all the activities. So it should be meditatively. So these the three layers. When you are in the company of one who is awakened, the moment you go within his energy field, now as I mentioned to you, collective unconscious, what is the energy field of that person who is negative? So you are going into his energy field and you must get affected. When you are going in an atmosphere where you are going in the public place, you are asked to sanitize the hands because you are touching the shelves which has been touched by the others. Infection can come to you. You sanitize your hands, you have your mask face on, and then when you are finished, you again wash your hands. That is what doctors are supposed to wash their hands after the examination, before the examination, in a particular way. You rub the hands, then this inside, then all around, then all the fingers. So it takes nearly 20 seconds to wash your hands properly. So these are very common things that we understand, but when it comes to spirituality, to protect ourselves, we do not understand, we do not follow. So when you are in the company of someone, you feel very happy. The moment you come in the company of that person, you feel invigorated. You feel new energy into you. One of my friend, he comes in very often. According to Hindus, it is called Nazar Utarna. Means, he would have gone into the bad company or this thing, so he has gathered some vibrations. The body takes that energy, so you take the antivirus or something. Even in the computers we use antivirus to protect the computers. So collective unconscious, cosmic unconscious, conscious, collective consciousness, cosmic consciousness, and then super consciousness or unity consciousness or God consciousness. These are the various layers. We have to understand these and how does it work. So for that, meditation is required. So when you are in a particular situation, all of a sudden a memory comes in, you had asked your spouse something and it does not respond in that way, immediately something surfaces into you, and you have no protection, you have no mask, you cannot clear that situation, and the situation becomes more aggravated. So Buddha had given this technique, and he wanted all the monks, before they enter into, to go into their past lives. That is what is known as Jati Samran. Samran means remembrance, the past remembrance. So there is the one thing is meditation, which is turning on the light into the dark room. Everything gets illumined. Then there is a focusing thing. You are looking for certain things. Now, the moment you turn on the light, the room gets lighted, but there still remains corners where the light does not reach, behind the cupboard, under the bed. The light that you turned on has not reached. So you use a torchlight or a special lighting system to explore those areas. So for that very reason, Jati Samran is that focus. You are focusing on that particular corner of your mind. So I had given the example of river and canal. River slopes many times. It goes around a tree. Its path is not certain. It is not determined. It decides the path that it has to travel on its own. On the contrary, canal is something which is planned for a specific purpose. Canals are made for irrigation, and because the river during the season may flood, so the water is preserved in the dams and the canals, and through that channel it goes to the fields for purpose of irrigation. So you are using that light. Jati Samran is that canal system through which the light is thrown in the particular part of the mind. So at times when you sit down in the company of the master, he does these things. The Sufis use the tawajjuh. But what is important, two things are important. If you do not know, the sex works at the two levels, at the level of energy and at the level of thoughts or thinking. So through the energy transfer, it can make the changes. But if the change has not taken place at the level of the thinking or the thoughts, it does not serve the purpose. What happens when the energy is at its peak? When you are a child, 0 to 7, it is no sex. 7 to 9, you start feeling the sensations, the body starts getting the movements, both male and female, and then it reaches by the age 21, it reaches the peak. And by the age 49, it starts waning. But energy is waning, so there is not much energy, but the thoughts and thinking continues. Even at the age of 95, I have heard a man at the age of 95 went for a medical checkup. Doctor examined him thoroughly, all the things that needed to be checked. He said, "Well, my boy, you are doing great. You are doing great." So the 95 years old young man said, "Doctor, what about my sex life? Energy is waned, but the thinking has, at that level, it has not worked." So what happens there? Even at the age of 95, you are thinking of sex. So when the Sufi master, through his tawajjuh, works on your energy levels or chakras, the various stages, nafs, goes through the stages of nafs and then transcends to suluk, then working at the level of energy, but there is not the explanation of that, how it is working. So the same situation remains like that 95-year-old young man. His physical energies have depleted, but the thought and the thinking remains at the level. So the doctor said, "Are you thinking about it? Are you thinking about it?" So my focus is, I am working at the two levels. At the level of the energy and at the level of thinking also, changing your thought patterns, because you do not understand how the energy works within you. You only understand thoughts, but thoughts alone is not going to work. If I can explain to you all these things, it is not going to work. So I have to work simultaneously the two levels, work at your energy level, at the same time keep on giving you explanations. So it is a very arduous process. I am not hesitant, no master is hesitant about using the language. That's why he remains most controversial, because he is not like a priest who will not use these words. The words sex and so, and all the words related to it will not be used by such communities. Whereas the awakened one, and that too not everyone, every awakened one, Osho was the first one who openly targeted the religious social belief system, the conditioned belief system, and unless it is broken and it is attacked at that level, the thinking will not change. It must change. At the energy level, I can bring about the change in that. But are you aware of it? No. So the two levels, the work has to be done. And that is what Jati Samran means, explanation to be given, then given you the technique, and it is not that technique is given to each and every one. I recall many times when anybody will come to the master and say that I want initiation. So everyone, they wanted, like, see this Buddha says that unless you go through the Jati Samran in the past lives, you are not ready to enter into the monkhood. Sufis say that initiation, before the initiation, you must enter into the experience, the male-female relationship. So he said that it is said that for general, the seekers that you have to get married first. But Hazrat Shah Bahauddin Naqshband, who was on his name, the Naqshbandi tariqat came into, whosoever he will meet on the street, he will initiate the person. Osho did the same thing. So this is called the first initiation. The first initiation means I invite you to come to my fold. If I do not give you that kind of a freedom that you cannot come inside here because there are the confidential talks or sessions are taking place. No, everyone is allowed. You will gather, you will capture according to your capacity, according to your understanding, but you have started understanding from the very beginning. When I was a small child, I used to be very attached to my grandmother. So she will do certain occasions, special cooking, and that time there is always that you are important. I am important in the sense that every time something is to be done, grandmother will call me, come and bring this, bring that, and so you feel very happy as that you have a special place. So at that time we do not understand certain things, but these are going deeper into you. From the childhood, these things are going into you. Sleeping with the grandfather, the master, so while he is in meditative energy, it is going into you. When he is in the meditation, so it is not that when you grow old then you will come into. So from the very state, the Shah Bahauddin started initiating the people. He meet on the street, he will initiate. At times there are people who are ordinary people who are coming, who have nothing to do with spirituality. So you have to find a common bond, how to attract them to your fold. So you look at what is their interest. Everyone has an interest in cooking. If not cooking, then eating tasty dishes. That is an important aspect. Use that. So what I have started doing, so my business that is part of my living that relates to the food items distribution. So all my cookbooks, I have made it available free of charge. Whosoever comes to the store, do you have data on your phone? Open it and I'll give you a gift today. So they feel connected that I can talk to this person. I said, if you need any particular dish, you can call me. If once I have time, I'll walk you through the entire recipe. So the person feels a connection. So Bahauddin, what he did? Bahauddin, he's traveling. He was potter he was in the profession of pottery. Means he used to make the intricate designs on the pots, intricate designs of spirituality. So does it mean that I have to be a potter? No. I have to use what is the technique that Bahauddin used. What is the technique that Bahauddin used to do to attract the people and engrave things on their hearts and their minds, just as you make the spiritual designs on the pottery, on the pots, and in the same way it is creating the groups in the consciousness. You can create the groups in the consciousness of the people in 1,000 and different ways and means. You have to see how. Cooking is one method. Give the books. So a group is created in the consciousness of that person. So when you are coming to me, what am I? I am consciousness. Aham Brahma Asmi. Aham Brahma Asmi. So the consciousness can manifest in thousand and different ways and means. Your energy moves through your gestures, through your eye movement, the way you interact with the people. There is a tradition, when a customer comes to your shop, he buys something, whatever he buys, he pays for it. What does he get extra? We have introduced the technique, that we give complimentary tea to the customers who come to the place. These are some of the things one can do in one's own fold once you are given an opportunity to work. Bahauddin did that way. He was making the intricate designs on the pottery which were attracted to the people, even those people who were connected with him through the business. People say, by you are business, you cannot be spiritual, but why? Shah Bahauddin Naqshband. Osho spoke on every aspect of life, every master, and much more in detail without any hesitation of the language that he is using. Every single opportunity that you get to create the groups and the consciousness is important. If you find somebody is interested in sex, speak to them. And if you are lost in your own inertia, you cannot speak freely. Osho spoke on various topics, but he was not lost in the inertia. He spoke every single topic with a certain kind of elegance, certain kind of decency. There was no obscenity, even if he is giving a joke. Even if he is giving a joke on a particular word, he takes you deeper to remove those barriers that are there into your mind. This is what an awakened one does. He removes the particular words we are not supposed to use in the spiritual terminology. But does the word mean anything? So then you have not understood Lao Tse. Lao Tse says in Tao Te Ching, the word water is not water, the word God is not God, the word Allah is not Allah. Then how can a particular word sex be sex? If water is not, the word water is not water, if the word God is not God, if the word fire does not burn you because it is not fire, it is an indication. Sex is an indication of an energy. Once you have that kind of understanding, you can speak on any topic and bring about transformation in an individual. This is how does an awakened one interacts and continues. We'll continue. I was hoping to speak on Jati Samran, but look what happened there. But anyways, it is, whatever it is for transformation of human consciousness. Only this much for this morning. Until we meet again, take care and do have a pleasant day.